Hey, I'm Kristen Spalding. I was asked to make a quick video just about my experience with LadyBoss so far, and I'm more than happy to do that. I love this program, and it's been life-changing for me. I joined at the end of January of this year, 2017, so I've been a member for about 5 months now. I joined right after my wedding, a couple weeks after my wedding, but I'll come back to that later. So first, a little bit of backstory. I have had issues with food, my body, my self-esteem, all of that from an early age. And I think a lot of ladies that come to LadyBoss can relate to that. I think that's part of how a lot of us get here, So when I was 14, I was only 5'2", but I was 165 pounds. And not that anything's wrong with it, but I didn't know how to do my hair. I had glasses, like different things. And when you combine them all together, a couple of not so nice people at school were making me feel pretty bad about myself sometimes. So therefore, when freshman year let out that summer, I ended up starting to starve myself. And I would keep this obsessive food journal, you're only allowed to have 14 baby carrots today and a can of Diet Pepsi, and you have to power walk for 2 hours. And I ended up going from 165 pounds to 112 pounds just over the summer. At that same time, I had hit my last growth spurt, and I went from 5'2" to 5'6" that summer when I was 14. So 112 pounds at 5'6" is not very healthy. So I liked the attention it got me, though, and people were nicer to me at school. So I kind of began this cycle. And what I would do was I would go that way for several months and lose as much weight as I could and stuff. I would think, oh, I'm dizzy today. That means I'm losing weight. It was really messed up, right? So then when I just couldn't take that anymore, the deprivation, I would then go opposite, right? So then I would eat anything and everything in sight with no regard to portion sizes or what's healthy. So then I would balloon back up. And I kind of kept going that way from 14 to 23. Old habits die hard, I guess, right? So then once I got out of college, I got my first teaching job, and I was so overwhelmed. I felt like no amount of college classes prepared me for being in charge of a group of 5-year-olds for the first time. So there was a lot of work to be done, and I was working late hours. I do have an anxiety disorder that's been diagnosed, and I used to treat my anxiety with food. So I was getting fast food every single night, and soon enough I found myself back up at 165 pounds, and the weight wasn't going anywhere. It seemed to actually be starting to edge up. So it was going past the heaviest I had been before. Well, that spring, I got a couple of rounds of bad news at once. So I already kind of felt like I was drowning in anxiety. I was planning a wedding, so that's pretty stressful. And then I found out that my dad got diagnosed with stage 4 bone cancer throughout his entire body. So that kind of rocked my world. And in that very same month, I found out my contract didn't get renewed at my first teaching job. So I just started spiraling. I started doing that thing again where I was really into fitness, and then I wasn't, and I felt fine, and then I wasn't fine. And I just kind of got in robot survival mode, and more often than not was abusing food to help. Well, when I got my wedding pictures back, so I got married at the beginning of January. At the end of January, I got my wedding pictures back. And I remember I just cried and cried because I did not like how I looked in most of them. I think a lot of us can relate to, like, we know we've let ourselves go, but one day you just, like, see a picture you get tagged in or something and you're like, oh my gosh, that's what I look like. So I remember crying. There was a function on my photographer's website where you could make a lot of pictures private. I made I would say probably over half of pictures of me from my own wedding private because I was ashamed of them. Well, that's when I decided to give LadyBoss a try. I'd seen Kaelin's videos pop up here and there, and I'd never really taken the plunge. So I got started in the end of January. And I was shocked at how sustainable this program was. I mentioned earlier, like, the whole starving yourself and eating whatever you want. Neither one of those things are sustainable. But this is the first program I've ever tried that is. So, like, there's food that actually tastes good, and I didn't feel like I was depriving myself. And it was so helpful because I would get back in that old mindset of, like, oh, I need to starve myself. And then I'd look at Kaelin, and, like, her body is goals to me. And so I would look at her and be like, well, if she eats this stuff and looks like that, then it's okay. I can eat that too. I don't have to starve, right? Being into fitness has so much helped my anxiety. It's so much helped some of the depression that I've been feeling with everything going on with my family right now. It has changed my life from the inside out. I've lost 15 pounds, several inches so far. But the best part about it is that I've gained confidence. Like, I don't mind to change in front of my own husband now. I don't mind when people take pictures of me at events. I'm not as scared about them tagging me as I used to be, like in photos. I just feel more confident in every single way. And that took time to build. Like, even Kaelin talks about, like, her first time to the gym, she just went back out. Like, we all start there, but if you stick with it, I promise you, you won't regret it. I promise you. And one of the most life-changing things I've heard in this program is that it's earned. It's not given. And equally along with that, it's determination. You're not always going to feel motivated, but you can feel determined and get things done. So thank you to the LadyBoss program. This is getting too long. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm happy that the company and the group are growing so much more, because I would give this feeling to anyone if I could. So yeah, that's about it. I'm always here. If anyone sees this, I don't know if anyone's going to see this, but I'm always here. I know how life can get you down, and I know how if you stick with this program, it will help bring you finally up to where you wanted to be. So hope everyone has a good day. Bye.